Yikes. Is this on? Once again, I just managed to make everything run. I'm really quickly gonna check that it's working by listening to myself on YouTube on my headphones. Okay. Slightly promising. Also, for anybody who's like waiting for me to start a live stream and not be a mess, then maybe in the next 5 years, we'll see. Compressed charcoal. Okay, this needs to come off because I'm hearing myself double. Yikes. I wish I knew how to turn off these headphones that I bought. They're really cheap, but they come with this charging case. My ears don't have that thing where you can hold normal like button earbuds, so I need to have those loops. The only thing that stays on me when I'm running. Okay, probably for sketching I could go maybe a little smaller just to get things done, and I think that usually makes me work faster in this. And I think that probably frustrates people the most when I'm starting a live stream and I have no idea what's going on. But as people in the membership already know, starting a live stream is not easy. So that's pretty much like when I'm talking about like preparation for a live stream, for me, like that has come to me in these days. That's like just starting it, just having all the machines on and starting the live stream. Mikko, have you seen Jack Jerka paintings? If you have, no, I haven't, sorry. But I can maybe Google it later. I will remember it. Also, now that I have read it in the comments or chat, I will check it later. And hey, Henry, Sydney, Mark, Burr, and Jeningma, Melanie, and everybody who managed to see this. I know that it was kind of a ninja live stream, but who cares? Honestly, I'm just trying to get things done in a most chaotic way possible, I think. I've had a busy day today, so why not do a live stream, because I've already done everything. It just came from a swim, so that's why I will probably be wearing this cap the entire time. Also the reason why I have the window open, because it's just internally burning all of the time. I'm like a human furnace. I wish I could turn off these like Windows notifications. Sydney is saying, I'm sorry for this, I need to open an energy drink. It's almost 9 here and I'm old, so my nap time. So Sydney is saying, headphones of all kinds hurt my ears. Like they can't handle weight on them at all. I use one-sided headset for work, so I can swap when it gets unbearable. I think I have the same thing, but like maybe my ears aren't that sensitive, but it comes more from the fact that like I cannot exist in the world without music. Especially stuff like running and painting. I cannot imagine how anybody gets like either of those things done without music. I mean, it just seems like a really important part of both. So for me, headphones are always on, and when I'm working on a YouTube video, I don't even like get to listen to normal music. I listen to like the 3 music licensing services that I subscribe to, and I'm constantly searching for music of like what kind of music would work well with the painting I'm working on and with the video that I have been writing. So that music is not easy to find because I cannot just rely on pop culture to bring that content to me. So I need to actively search for like the right tone, and it makes a huge difference in video editing. I think the videos where the music like hits the tone of the video, they're not just easier to edit, but I think the rhythm in them works better. It's this like black magic skill of editing that I have only like momentarily sometimes managed to capture, but I'm sure it's something that professional editors do all the time really well. But I know that like when I reach that somehow, then I can really notice it, the difference that it makes. Hello, May Rona. Angry Mob will always assemble even on short notice. Yeah, sorry. I honestly wasn't sure if I would even have the energy to do a live stream after the swim. But the swim went well. Usually during this time of the week, the swimming pool is completely full, but right now there just happened to be the kind of group of people swimming in the same lane that I was, that it was right up at the same speed that my swimming speed is, which is, by the way, like super slow. I literally just started learning freestyle, which I did not know like at all. I could not do it a few weeks ago, so I'm just trying to get the reps in and like do the hours so that maybe someday we'll be here. Who knows? I think it's something that could like improve the quality of my life if I just manage to do enough of it. The brush I'm using is the one that I just finished today, which is compressed charcoal. I'm really happy the way that this is has turned out, come together. I'm putting all the brushes as downloads on membership, so that I wouldn't like spam people. I've been thinking that once I have a set of 5 in that drawing set, there are still a few brushes that I am working on, which I've been thinking it would be a really good addition to that set. So once they're all done, I can put it up for download. But if people just want it right away, I can also upload the tree now and just add the ones that I've been working on later. But I don't want to burden anybody with like extra file management. Really should take off this streaming locker key. Sorry. Gonna read some chat in the meantime. Oh. I wish I could blast music. Mars is saying, I cancelled almost all my meetings today to focus in all the suggestions you made to my illustration. I just angry fever and I can't work. Nick Holiday. Yeah, I'm glad that the feedback went to a person that appreciates it. I don't often write that detailed feedback descriptions. I don't know what came over me. I just felt like it's such a great painting in so many of the things that we've been talking about with the art assignments lately, and it's like hitting so many aspects right that I hope that other people will read that feedback too, because I think there's a lot of things that everybody can learn from your painting, honestly. By just like looking at the composition and how you have divided it into these parts, especially with the way the values are divided and the way that saturation and light is used. I think it's super smart. This is not really a finished palette, but if anybody wants to steal this, like, feel free to screenshot it right now. I will just read the chat and enjoy some caffeine so that I won't be half asleep halfway through this. Varun is asking, when you start your piece, do you have clear vision? No. No. I don't even need to read the rest of this sentence of how you want it to come out, or does it change a lot by the piece finishes? I have no idea what I'm doing. Hello from Sweden. Oh, hello, neighbors. How are you guys doing? You have a plan on what to draw? No, I don't. Love your stuff, so inspiring. I don't know if I can stay long, but it's still fun. Thanks for stopping by anyway. I understand that it's also late in Sweden. I usually don't stay up that late. I'm kind of I have the soul of a granny, it turns out. I need to. Trying to think about the saturation aspects right now. even though this is not a finished palette, the thing I like about this palette is that like no color is kind of like overriding everything. There's no dark colors that are too dark. Well, this is maybe too dark. Quite sure about that. Maybe it's not. It's just fine. This brush is, by the way, made out of the materials, basically the art residue of my previous illustration in my last video. It's one of those like pieces that I took aside, and I thought that this is going to make a great brush material later. So I didn't end up using it in the illustration that I made for that video. But it was just like one of those ink splotches that on paper that had the kind of character that I thought would be really useful for stuff like this later. Okay, now I'm kind of happy with the silhouettes, so I think I should already start carving out things on separate layers. Usually this type of style would be more fun to just like paint everything on the same layer, but because this is a live stream and I don't want to waste your entire life, I'm cutting these things out. Okay, so now I'm selecting this sky color, and then I'm inverting the selection, and then doing copy, paste, and now I have the sky behind everything. And clean this up a little bit. Freehand lassos. That's the quickest way to do this. I mean, you could like erase those things by hand if you just want to absolutely waste your entire life, but don't have time for that. Low Baran. Raisen looks like cat-shaped pyramids. That's cats. Maybe it's subjective what you see in it. Also, could be cats. I can't imagine the younger me, like learning to draw or paint when I was younger, and having people like you looking and commenting on what I'm trying to do at the same time that I'm trying to do it. Honestly, if you feel like it's weird to paint in public and you feel like everybody is staring and it's making you completely seize up and have this like panic that people are judging you, that's completely normal, because that's everybody. Like, nobody starts drawing and feels like, hey, I'm gonna start a live stream and show everybody how I'm searching for, I don't know, an idea while people are looking. That's not most people, and you don't have to do that. I know that these days with social media, unfortunately, I think even young people feel like they should be on camera right away. I mean, I didn't object to the fact that even beginners were encouraged to post their work online. That I do encourage, but it just seems like a bit much that young people should be like making TikTok videos and reels out of their like practice work immediately. Maybe I'm just old, but like somehow that seems to cross some sort of like personal space line that I'm not like fully comfortable with. It's Bibi Mountain. I'm trying to train Vivi to be by herself for a few hours. Today I was writing in the library, and I was also working on this brush there for a little while after lunch, because I'm gonna be teaching concept art again next spring, game school, and she's gonna be alone for that duration, so I don't want it to come off as a shock to her, so I'm trying to get her used to be by herself again before I need to go. I mean, I still have few months of this training to get her used to it. But the library is nearby, so it's not a big hassle to do on my part. I really like the grays here. It's just kind of like blocking me from making progress, so I just need to get less fussy about that. By the way, if you're wondering where Vivi is, like we went for a quick evening run and is already somewhere. Like the small amount of redness. Do I? Maybe I do. I don't know if I do. I'll have to see how it all works out. Abe is asking, do you use Lasso tool a lot throughout the painting process? And not just for small adjustments and blocking. Should I use it often? Well, I think Lasso tool is that like hidden secret tool that you can use for creating like really realistic, not this looking like this type of thing, but if you want to create realistic looking mountains, then freehand lasso tool definitely. And like extra tip is like using your non-dominant hand and like trying to draw a mountain with that. Perfect results, I guarantee you. Hello, Tuerchen. There's no way I'm saying that right. Arneri is much easier. It's so nice to see that like the whole gang made it online. Just like in seconds. That's amazing. I think this week I felt like I've been like super extra lucky. I can have the group and the support. I've needed it. And really helpful. I don't think I like say this enough, but like it's super awesome to see you guys in the art and assignments, you know, to see your work and the way that you progress. Like honestly, like that like super happy. I don't like always comment on those things, but like when I see somebody just like post like clearly art that is like above their like previous skill level, like amazing. Or it's just art that is like expressing a different level of depth than they use. I think that's also something always super awesome to see. For some reason I always like doing this sky gradients this way, even though like there's no like actual reason behind it. Could as well be okay. Just don't maybe like that. I have the wrong attitude to do this experiment because I feel like I'm just gonna turn it back the way that it was anyway. Nah. And I have to squint really hard, and I noticed that like I'm kind of bargaining with myself to try to make it work, then it's already a lost cause. I think my lighting rarely, if ever, makes that much sense. I'm kind of more interested in the emotional impact of what I'm creating. If it makes me feel anything. If it doesn't make me feel anything, then it's just like simply not working. I cannot continue that way. Then I need to go back to the drawing board, and I'm perfectly happy with just like restarting, repainting everything, because there's no point in polishing something that doesn't mean anything. I mean, if art is just pretty and it doesn't have any soul to it, then it's not worth the trouble. You might as well be using like the AI image generators at that point. You just want to have the images. I love this track. Hi Mikko, how's your day been? It was close. Okay, if it's a German name, then there's no hope for me. I tried to learn German for a year. It produced absolutely no results whatsoever. Because when I was a kid, I lived in Germany for a year. Where are you from, Mikko? I'm from Finland. That's why don't expect eye contact in this live stream. And general social awkwardness. That's also a Finnish thing that we do really well. Also, apparently, we're not great at facial expressions either. As one production director was telling me, like, try to look happy when you say that. I said, like, this is my happy face. Like, this is the extreme that it goes. We're Finnish. We don't do facial expressions. For the love of God. Chinner is saying, I've missed Procreate so much, tried Photoshop and tablet, and I just wasn't the same. I think tablets missed this feature. I mean, Photoshop does have touch controls in some really expensive graphics tablets, but it's just the program wasn't ever meant for it, so you really feel it, and I think that's the greatest thing that makes iPad like graphics applications just like more fun to use, because the touch controls are kind of like part of the application user interface, user experience design, so you can put those things into a PC program. But if the program isn't made for that purpose ground up, then the results are just never gonna be the same. Does anybody have tips for posture and holding the pencil? I've been doing a drawing exercises for just a couple of days and my chest, back and underarms really hurt. I don't know what to do. Well, definitely. My number one tip for posture when it comes to painting is like, under no circumstances should you or anybody else out there ever do this. Like, don't do this. I am recording this painting process from top-down view. The only reason why I'm painting on a flat table like this is because I'm recording. If I was working on a commission or doing visual design for like any of my normal client projects, I'm not here sitting at the table like this ever because I like save my neck and back. So you definitely don't want to train any muscles by leaning over your painting all the time. The only reason that this tablet is on the table is so that you guys wouldn't have to look at my face in the reflection of the tablet when I'm painting. Otherwise, I would have one of those wedges that I would like tilt it towards me, or I would just like go on my couch, curl up in a ball and like paint with the iPad on my lap. That's what I would do. I'm here for you guys and I'm like breaking my back, literally. So, it's so glad that somebody showed up, because otherwise I would be doing this for nothing. My manager is Finnish, you described her so well. Yeah, that's like the entire population is like that. Tayara. Am I the only one watching you from India? I must say it's very therapeutic to watch you paint. Your way of doing it is very different and it's a little difficult for me to understand too. Well, I think the beauty of painting is that there's no right or wrong way of doing it. Like, everybody just has to find their own way, that there are millions and millions of like small decisions that you end up making throughout the process of even one single painting. And through experience, you will find what methods like come easy to you, what feels easy for you to paint. And you need to notice those moments of ease, which are like really difficult to honestly to notice. This might sound easy, but you will notice the things that you are having difficulties with. But then we don't pay attention to those moments when things just like go a little bit smoother, a little bit more effortlessly, and it's a combination of different techniques and subject matters and colors and values and materials, or the order of things, how you're painting them or drawing them, that creates that sense of ease to you. And if you pay attention every time that those moments happen, then you can start building your own way of painting, where you can make painting easier for you every time, so that you can bring some of that ease into every one of your painting. Because painting itself is never gonna like start being easy. You will find the difficulty elsewhere. You will have more complex topics that you want to express through your art, and that's where you like put that energy in difficulty, not in trying to paint like somebody else's painting or use their process to do your own art, because their process is fine-tuned to communicate those things that they are interested in, and you are your own person. Mary is saying nice things. Thank you, Mary. I don't want to read that out loud because it sounds like I'm complimenting myself, but I really needed this too. I hope you make some more detailed and easy to understand videos for beginners. Well, I'm thinking of making a video that's like a follow-up to colors as a beginner exercise, but I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to make it yet. So once I have the right painting for that, then I can really start working on that piece. Because if it was just like art course materials, I would turn it into an art assignment. I think that's the easiest way to learn, by following the assignment and doing it yourself. I mean, like using the rules to do your own painting, not my painting, but your own painting using those rules. But on YouTube, you also have to think about this like whole YouTube game of like how to construct videos, and those are different rules than I need to follow in educational material, purely educational material. I love this word snoot for some reason. It sounds very cute. Storm is saying, I'm the opposite. Love Photoshop, still can't quite figure out Procreate. Well, honestly, the tools are the same. Like, it's the same tool. What I was talking about was like mostly only about the logistics of the hardware. The software makes no difference. If you can paint in Procreate, you can paint in Photoshop. But for beginners, and I don't want to imply that Photoshop is somehow a professional painting tool or more professional, because it's a photo editing tool. So when, for example, art students, they open Photoshop and they see this dashboard of all kinds of like effects and adjustments and neural filters, like it gives the impression that to learn how to use this tool requires the knowledge of like how those photo editing tools and design aspects work. And we don't touch any of those during the concept art class. In fact, I sometimes restrict them from using some of those features because I have only so much time, and if I want to teach them, like for example brushstroke rhythm and painting, they need to do the actual painting, otherwise we just won't have time for them to learn anything properly. But for painting, you need brushes that you can change the size of and the opacity. And that's all art programs, basically. So once you learn those, then you are not restricted to what program you are using. For example, in my art course, I specifically teach how this stuff works in Procreate, but you can use those same composition rules like in anything. I use those same rules when I'm painting in traditional media with oils. Like I learned all of the composition stuff from oil painting, basically. I'm gonna like try putting in some red somewhere. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but it's on my mind. Putting it out there in case it happens later. Here's red. Maybe that's why. Likes. Rough. Yeah, that doesn't sound super Finnish. Where do you get your inspiration from? I find your way of doing art so organic and cool. Well, nature, loneliness, broken things. 90s, late 90s video games, always. Same answers. I think I've been repeating these over and over. And relationships, honestly. What am I doing? Like literally, now I'm just out. thinking. Absinthe is saying it's a bit sad that in some sense YouTube's algorithm prevents some educational content to be produced. Yeah, I think I fully agree with that. I mean, if it would work, like I would love to do the kind of videos that I do on the membership to my normal channel, but they just wouldn't work. Especially since like some of them are sequential, and this project that the secret project that you have seen that I'm working on, like especially that wouldn't work, even though it's probably like the most useful part. But I do think that's a problem, and I wish it wasn't that way. It's not like it's just a bad thing. I do like learning to edit videos in a way that the information is engaging and even young people want to learn about them, and especially to develop a healthy relationship with art. I don't hate doing sort of videos. I think it's super fun, and I do think it serves a purpose. And it's not impossible to do educational videos. I think the best videos that I like myself are ones that kind of like have a hook that is something that people want, and then they end up like secretly learning things on my way to like talking about that one thing that I introduced in the beginning. I think that's one of the reasons why I love doing long form content, because almost always it's just serving this like hidden agenda of mine, that the video is never just about one thing, but on my way to like expanding like one core concept of painting that the video title or thumbnail is about, I end up teaching like multiple other things, and usually those things are the ones that I really wanted to get across. It's just like they wouldn't make an enticing video title or thumbnail, but I like teaching art, so that's why I make it. And also the membership like allows this outlet for me to make the other type of content as well. So it's not like I'm missing one aspect of like output that I really would like to do. And I think the opposite is true as well. I think some topics about painting, the tools, whatever is like currently happening in the art world or digital art, or just some specific painting or process that is very I feel like important to talk about. And those would be really difficult to kind of like sneak into a organized course on art and how to learn art, because then if you have this like random talk about like how to market yourself online, or how to deal with creative slumps, or how to transfer your process from Photoshop to Procreate, for example. Like, it would be super random in some sort of art course that is about painting. Suddenly have one of these like more technical. It would just be like very out of place. So I think it's good that there's also a space for that type of information, because that stuff is important too. I mean, if you like can't set up your canvas for paint, like all of the rest of the painting information pretty much makes no sense anymore. How am I doing on time? 1 hour. I think we have an idea, so I'm not too worried. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be done for visual impact still, but I'm not too worried. Oh, Sammy and Sana P. Do you play video games? Yes. Currently I'm playing the Trails series, and I'm on the 5th game. Trails from Azure, or into Azure. I don't know. Anyway, I love the art style of Trails games up to this point that I've been playing, because I know that they are PSP games, but the art style holds up so well. They are these like cute pre-rendered characters from isometric views, and all of the houses look so adorable. I love all the interiors of all the buildings. They're amazing. But if you don't like games that have a lot of text, then I definitely don't recommend it, because it's a whole lot of reading. But I usually play video games a little bit every time that before I go to sleep. And sometimes in the morning. But like these days, I just have so much work that I don't have time to play things most of the time. Hello to Sweden again. Absinthe is saying, I love the approach of sneaking in some educational messages as well. I imagine doing that is not easy at all. I've been doing it for quite long, so you probably learned more things that you would want at this point if you've been watching my videos. The idea of being able to sketch with color and volume instead of with a pencil line was a door opening for me, that when I found your channel, that was the key to finding my way back to drawing. Yeah, honestly, drawing was like pushed very aggressively to me when I was in art school. It took me a really long time to learn that there are other ways to make art as well. And it's not that I hate drawing. Like, sometimes I think drawing is the best way to get the idea that I have in my head done. But I do not think that it's necessary for every type of painting. I don't think that approach fits everybody either. It sure as hell did not fit. I think these were the reds I was looking. Reds are. Honestly, sometimes you just need to look at your painting, and I never do it in these live streams enough, because you do need to look at your painting and think what you need to do to it, and then do it. You can't just be painting and progressing all the time, because just painting, like, it's not helping if you don't have a plan beforehand, and you cannot do planning at the same time. So doing it in this live stream is like me trying to do the impossible, and it's not how I recommend that you try to paint either. Yes, Sydney, thank you. Good series to get dragged into if you're a certain kind of a gamer. Also, Sydney, if you like Trails games, I'm interested if you've ever played Grandia 2 or the first one, because those are also kind of like somehow very similar, and there's this like similar like cozy feeling to it. And I think especially Grandia 2 is like a great game. I highly recommend anybody who likes especially the Trails in the Sky series. There's some similarities in tone. Do you ever find yourself in a rut and the urge to create isn't there anymore? I'm sometimes tired and I sometimes need a break like everybody else needs in every single other profession. There's nothing special about feeling tired if you're an artist. If you're an artist and you're working all the time, you're allowed to take breaks and be tired like everybody else. And honestly, if somebody like starts bringing up some sort of like a myth of a art block, then I'm gonna become an academic. I don't believe in that stuff. I hit my eyeball with energy drink. Yikes. Have you played Icarus? Do you mean the 3DS game? I think I missed it, and if I'm not wrong, it's one of those games that is now super expensive as a physical copy, so I think I just missed that. I can't afford to buy some super expensive collector rarities. I do have plenty of like DS games that I have not played yet, because back when 3DS shop was shutting down, I like panic buyed so many games, especially from Etrian Odyssey series, and I love those games. Every Etrian Odyssey that I have played, I've loved, even if I haven't completed all of them. They're also some of the hardest games I've ever played, and like truly scary stuff. You also have to be like a very specific kind of a psychopath to enjoy them, which I happen to be. Oh, Linnea Ekman is saying, your course is incredible. I enjoyed painting clouds. So you are going to like what I'm working on. In that case, I think pretty safe to say. I've been like, I should have like, what I should have done is that I should have gathered like all the positive comments people have said about my art course, because I could use them as marketing materials, but I should start doing that. That would be the smart move. But every time I've seen those, like, it's just my day. It was so hard to make. Honestly, you might think that just making a video course is just like making a bunch of YouTube videos and then it's done and then put it on sale, but wow. It has by far been like the most difficult thing that I have done this entire year. I'm hoping that next year I will have the energy to do another art course on a topic like landscapes or architecture design, something. There's a specific topic that people are interested in, then of course I will take that in consideration as well. From Canada. I've probably said this in many live streams, but I would love to visit Canada sometime. Oh, Grandia 1 and 2 are unsupported on Steam Deck. That's... Grandia 2 has the best buildings in any RPG ever. I think there's just no contest at all. And it's a thing that I always pay attention to. I just remember in every single town in Grandia 2, there's like a... And even the houses themselves have their own different style of furniture. If you like cute RPG houses, like Fantasy Life on 3DS also has interiors. You can tell that they have been super well. I need to sort out this absolute mess here somehow. Linnea Ekman is saying landscapes architecture course sounds very interesting, and your storytelling would make it very entertaining, educational and understandable. En malta odottaa, jos tämmönen olisi joskus tulossa. Well, Linnea, thank you for the suggestions. I think that's also a great idea to like tie it into some kind of a story to make it kind of like more engaging, because there could be a story that develops throughout the painting, like there pretty much always is. But I could make that part of the course itself and like almost like have a narrative throughout it. I never even thought about it that way, so I think it's a fantastic idea. I like this contrast that is happening over here. Also, the thing that I said about kind of like sneaking in education into something else, like that's also like what I did with the art course, because like the art course is sold as like I will teach you how to paint clouds, but it's secretly an art course. Like once you start it, I will teach you how to paint clouds, but you will learn like all of my composition checklists and how shape language works and how to structure your layers and so on. So those are all taught through like me showing how to paint clouds. So that is also like following this thing that like I'm gonna sell it to you as like this one thing, and I'm showing you how to do that thing, but you are secretly also learning how to paint at the same time, which I think is not a bad thing. I think it's like the opposite of clickbait, like when you get more than you asked for. Oh, somebody has never heard me speak Finnish. My Spanish friend calls Finnish orcish. Don't you just love it, like when you have the patience to go through painting with this sort of muted palette, and then when you get to add the bright saturated colors, it's just like sugar poured on top of it, and it's just like so good. I don't know. I hope I'm not the only one that is excited about this stuff. Never get tired of it. Samoyed Mountain. Samoyeds, those like super cute looking dogs. There's one of those in the dog school that Vivi goes to. Her daycare. She goes there only once a week, just so that she can be with other dogs. Anyway, there's like one Samoyed over there. And if I had more time in general in life, if I had a second life, I would definitely have more dogs than just one. I think it's also good for the dogs that they can play with each other. But so many things become more difficult with like more than one dog. Like for example, if I want to go somewhere, if there are art events, like arranging like a daycare for Vivi, it's always quite difficult and super expensive. Super expensive. I mean, I could always ask my sister, for example, but when there's money involved, there's like more commitment to it. If something comes up, I can like fully trust that she won't cancel at the last minute. Catherine De Flores is saying, "Oh, I just finished my drawing. I would love it for it to happen that way sometimes. It's like, oh, it's done." Oh, wrong layer. I think the painting upside down feels almost like flipping it horizontally. I will do that for this as well later in the process, but seeing your painting upside down gives you kind of like an abstract view of the shapes, and that can easily reveal some composition mistakes. For that reason, okay, I think I'm gonna do tackle the troublesome shapes front. I'm gonna duplicate this, and then I would just have more bravery in hacking down these trees. When you don't know what to do to fix something, at least you can like look at the shapes that you don't like, and that's a good starting point. I might not have a clear idea of like how I'm going to fix these shapes, but at least I know what shapes are causing me composition issues. And that's already nothing. A Pomeranian version of Bibi sounds cute. Boarding out 2 dogs for a week is usually more expensive than our own accommodations. It's yeah. I would love for these like Facebook groups work better, where people who have similar dogs or similar sized dogs take care of other dogs. Like for example, like I would love to take care of other people's dogs, even for an entire week. Like if there are a few days that like they can come over and we can make sure that they get along with Bibi, for example. Like I honestly enjoy that, and I wouldn't flake out at the last minute either. But I don't know if I would trust somebody else be that way. We had that one corgi that I was taking care of. for a few days, and I think that went super well. It was also super cute to see that because Vivi and the other corgi, they were same size, that they were wrestling, and you can tell when dogs have this sort of like good-natured wrestling, because they clearly ask for permission for the playtime, and then they got tired at the same time. That was super fun to watch. I think what the Rion bottle is saying, I find it tricky to draw with a color palette like here. It's like my brain goes, no, leaves don't have this color, but when I put it in context, it would fit. My brain is too systemic or analytic. I think everybody is like that. Like color relativity is something that you need to work in the painting to make it work. I cannot just go in here and pick a color that would, for example, work. Usually the colors in the distance are the hardest for this. I cannot just like look at this and then pick a color that would work here with these colors. I need to work that color to make it fit. So you can't paint your painting like it's a color book and you're filling colors in there. To find the colors there. And that takes time. But it's worth the work. Like when you can make color relativity work so that you need less colors, or can kind of like convince that one color is another color. Like that's usually when mood of the painting starts working, because other facts are already telling your viewer things. So a part of the painting is happening in head. And the more of that you can get in your painting, more personal whole experience of painting comes to your viewer, then it's not about you anymore. It's about how they see it. They are allowed to like perceive your brushstrokes. For the sake of some artistic intake, I'll try to figure out the foreground shapes a bit more. Idea here. When I lived in Seattle, there were about half a dozen of us with chickens. Wow, that sounds amazing. And we occasionally take care of each other's flocks. That sounds super cute. It would be fun. Change of pace to have to take care of someone's chickens. We would probably eat though. I mean, she's basically a fox. is being out of it. Did not realize that this brown yellow color is actually green. I think the round shapes work with the theme a lot better, and I think that's what I should focus on with the foreground trees as well. Just give them a bit more chubby look. For the same reason, I should finally delete these, because they are not consistent with shape language. Some things that are just brushstrokes that are part of the brushstroke mess, like it's fine to leave those things in. But when the brushstrokes are actively conflicting with how you are constructing your composition, then they need fixing. Neil, the brush you use, what would be the same here? Procreate basic brush. There are like tons of great Procreate basic brushes, and I highly recommend like experimenting with them and finding the brushes that fit you. Like ideally, like you should find one brush that works with you really well and then get really good at using that one brush. I don't recommend just downloading a ton of brushes and switching between them constantly, because then you will never develop that like muscle memory on how all the different dynamics work, especially if it's a very flexible brush. Like, this is quite a flexible brush because it's built to be a drawing brush. Like, this is meant for drawing. I just happen to be painting with it, but it's because it has that flexibility in it, and that makes this brush one of those brushes that is harder to learn. It takes more time because there are more shapes that I can create. think it's slowly starting to sort out into different take groups. Mikko, do you ever critique art? Is there some way to get your help with a piece? Well, I don't have a set way of like helping you with like one specific painting that you are working on, but I do sometimes like write feedback on Discord that I have. It's for members, and then more often I do comments and feedback in the feedback sessions when we have specific art assignment. But those submissions are on those art assignments that we are doing. But I think the subject matter has like been relatively free, because even though like the techniques that we are studying are kind of limited to the technique, I don't think it's helpful for learning if I limit the subject matter into something. I don't know. Do you feel like the subject matters have been like pretty free? I think they have been pretty relaxed when it comes to that. The rules are mostly about, for example, if we do like 1 point perspective art assignment this year, like then that was the only rule that the pieces needed to have. Gaming question. Have you played Celeste? if not a hard indie 2D platform game. It's really fun. Yes, I played it, but I haven't played it through, so I will have to take another attempt at it later. But from what I played, I really love the controls, and I think the animations are amazing, and I love the visuals of it too. And the combination of art styles, it's kind of like took me a while to get used to it, but I think as a whole, I like that sort of very experimental approach. I would rather be like upset by an art style than be bored by it, or have something that I don't remember. Just being like memorable is already like way better and just impressive technically. Graphics to me like don't really matter in games at all. It's like the visuals and visual design. That's the only thing that I'm going to remember later. I mean, obviously, like I'm playing a PSP game from ages ago, and I think the visuals of that game are like some of the best that I've seen in a really long time. I just can't stop talking about it because I think it's so charming. The beast has awakened. She's climbing into her own little bed. The one thing that I just love about Vivi is that she has like very specific like night routines, like evening routines that she does always in the same order. And it's like a whole set of things, and not only like drinking and going to bed, but she has this like pre-actual sleep nap at a very specific spot, and then she goes and has a quick drink. This does the wind turbine corgi move, and then moves to another bed. how long have you been doing art? So there was a Gran Turismo enthusiast, but I'm terrible at any driving games, honestly. The only driving game that I have played a lot is Mario Kart 8, but at this point, who hasn't played Mario Kart 8? It's like a decade of the same game. Nintendo really needs to get on with the sequel already. So, how long have I been doing art? I guess it's hard to tell, like, when do you start making art? Because I've been always interested in drawing, and ever since I was a kid, I was interested in concept art. I wanted to become a concept artist even before it even was a job in Finland. When I became a concept artist, like working on games, there weren't that many concept artists in Finland. So I got the job just when the jobs were like even available. Back then there weren't like schools for video games. My school was an art school where they taught oil painting. I love how you really care about our questions. It's nice to hear your different opinions. Yes, I think I haven't said in this live stream that like when I'm painting, it's really difficult to be reading at the same time. So sorry if I haven't seen everything that has been happening in the chat. I really do try, but I think nobody would be following these live streams if I wouldn't be able to get any art done, so that kind of has to be the priority. Otherwise, it would be just an awkward Finnish dude painting like that, where nothing happens. Been thinking of making the short of this week the finishing sequence of my previous video, because I worked on that for an entire day already and just want everybody to see that illustration. I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. I've been pushing myself to like create shorts every week lately, and I think it's good that I'm like getting more experience in it. I don't think I'm great at making shorts yet, but I can only get better by making them. So rather than complaining about it, I think it's great that I have finally managed to kick myself into doing something about it. like the whole view of this live stream looks really weird to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have all the windows squished. Hard to tell. Every live stream that I still do, there are still some technical difficulties that you don't anticipate. Every single damn time. So if you're a person who is like thinking of doing live streams at some point and you feel like it's super scary because you don't feel 100% prepared, then honestly that's also part of the fun of it, because it's probably not going to be perfect, but I think it's part of the charm. Like jumping out of the airplane and then coming up with a plan on your way down. Especially if you're painting and you have no idea what you're gonna be painting in that live stream, then it's gonna be extra scary. Of course, like if you don't want to do that, and I don't recommend this as your main way of painting, you can always have a sketch or a plan. But live streaming itself, I think it's inherently kind of scary, but that's also part of the excitement of it for me. Like every time a live stream ends, I feel like I just survived that. I'm trying to sort out these different groups of different foliage masses into shape patterns where they have kind of like similar shapes next to each other, and that way it will be easier to read for the viewer when they can just like categorize, even though these are organic, chaotic, non-repeat patterns. When the shape language is the same on all of them, kind of easier to look at, because when a person sees like one of these like horizontal looking brushstrokes over here, they can immediately like lump it into part of this like one mass of brushstrokes in this zone of painting. They don't have to individually read every single brushstroke. The idea is beginning to be there, but I think I can still do some polish stuff, because there are still areas where I can do the same of grouping, and it less out the visual impact. That's what I always go for in these live streams, and all that detailed rendering, or just sorting out the composition so that I can highlight the things that I want to show to the viewer. That sort of cleanup, that takes a lot of time. And honestly, I like those sessions as well, because they wouldn't make a great video either. So in those sessions, I can just take the iPad in my lap and paint with either the screen recording on, or just don't record it at all, because a lot of that footage is not really usable for videos anyway. Oh, cool to hear that, Sydney, you're doing Nanoprimo. I hope it goes well. Sounds like a very daunting at honest. But good luck. This is the beginning. I think probably once you get into the rhythm, I hope it gets easy. I don't know if it's how many people who start Nanoprimo finish it, but I would assume that it's very, very scary project to do. About this question, like it's just whenever there is a color instead of a shadow and it works, I always like those moments. maybe that's the reason why I like Lighten blend mode so much. Dreaming is a bit scary, there is saying, but sometimes I end up feeling like I got nothing to show. A friend said, it's like going up on a stage with no act. I love it. It's so accurate though. That's how I feel like. It's like doing stand-up and you have like nothing prepared when you go on stage and you're not funny. It feels like that. There are so many moments when during the live stream, like especially in the beginning, when an idea just isn't coming, because it's honestly not something that I can just press a button then the idea will show up. Sometimes, like in those moments, I feel like I'm bombing so hard right now, and there's like nothing that I can do to dig myself out of this hole. You just have to laugh about it, because otherwise it's just way too traumatizing to ever go live again. But those moments definitely happen. Even in the beginning of this live stream, like I had that like weird like round bear mountain shape and it just wasn't working, and I felt like this is not filling the aspect ratio at all, and like I had no backup plan. I just thought like for sure, like when I put these shapes into this sort of formation, it's supposed to be a painting at some point, and it wasn't happening. Okay, but I think this is starting to look maybe like this whole, like there are 2 mounts that I need to fix, so I'm gonna fix those still. Am I yet at 3 hours? No. So I still have time. I mean, my live streams are always like super long, but I don't know. If I did just like 1 hour live streams, I don't think I would get enough done to make it worth the effort. The one thing that I have noticed is like I cannot like panic on camera much, because that will just spin me into this sort of like state of like I cannot fix anything, everything is just permanently ruined. So I try to stay calm even when things seem kind of hopeless. But I think in art, like generally, nobody's gonna come and save you anyway. Like if you feel like your painting is a mess, it probably is, but like you're the only one who can fix it. So you can either complain about it and be a victim, or like do something about it. Because if your painting is a mess, then it's not done yet, and there's no point in complaining about it because you can just fix it and turn it into something that works. Sometimes that takes multiple times, multiple attempts of getting it right. And honestly, sometimes I just guess. Like sometimes when nothing is working, sometimes I just take layers, like make random gradients or move big elements around, because if it's already not working, then like trying different things that might or might not work, at least it's not gonna make it worse. With painting, I think it also helps that like I can think that there are so many videos that are edited on my channel where I'm doing a full painting in like 5 to 20 minutes. And especially with these shorts that I'm making, I think the danger with shorts is that they make it seem like paintings come together like really quickly and effortlessly when you have to fit it the whole thing into like 60 or 15 seconds. That's not how art happens. So whenever I'm like messing up or taking my time with the idea in these live streams, I can always remind myself that like I think it's important for especially people new to art, the struggle and the work that goes into creating art, because when they start and suddenly there isn't a button in Procreate that is suddenly creating the entire art piece for them, that they won't get frustrated, and because of that they expect know that it's not struggle that is somehow unique to them. Kind of love these both versions. Damn it. What am I gonna do? Maybe with the green. Yeah. I think the green gives more opportunities for red. It's nice too. Damn it. Sometimes you just want to have all of the options. At once. That's lovely to hear, Senigma. Perfect audience then. Also, good choice for a husband. That's a sign of a good choice. Lucky Tiger Kitten is saying, it sometimes takes me 20 hours for a painting, mostly due to lack of skill. But sometimes I like to try out things and even discard the ideas if it doesn't work. It takes 20 hours for me to do a painting as well. Like sometimes 40 hours, honestly. Depends on the piece. Sometimes it takes a huge amount of time. I wouldn't start an illustration in these live streams that takes 40 hours to even get to the visual impact. Like, for example, I wouldn't do a line art piece that then gets turned into color that is, for example, in isometric perspective. There wouldn't be enough time here to do that. Like, that would take me way more time to even get to the part where you can even see how it's all gonna come together in the end. That would make no sense for a live stream. At least with the way that I do it in that style. It would just be like way too frustrating for all of you to watch. I hate it when I accidentally make groups. I'm gonna make a few more things, I promise. I noticed that I'm getting like into details that don't make that much of a difference right now. Which is a sign that I should stop. But also at the end of each live stream, like when I get like the visual impact working, I don't want to stop. That's when I get really excited. That's when it's starting to get good for me. I'm so excited by that last change that I didn't see it coming at all, that would work. Super exciting. Maybe the purple could work up in the sky. It looks like the bear is blushing. It's like it heard all the compliments and now it's like, oh dear. And now saying, yes, when I post a time lapse of a drawing, people think I could just magically sketch a 20-hour pattern for them in one afternoon. Yes. Also, it's the reason why people are so shocked when they hear like what commission prices are for a real illustration. It's just try not to take that too seriously. But I think I'm done. I think those last edits were like the fuzzy ones, and I don't think I got like too precious with the details. I think the idea is there, and I buy it. I buy this as an environment that I would be interested in exploring. I wanna go to the Bear Mountains. I wanna travel along the waterfront and see what they look like up close. They seem mysterious and cute. And the fact that I like them, like that gives me energy to like finish rendering like all of those assets, sort out the rest of the shapes. But I think I got like the contrasts and the colors now to a point where like that seems like an exciting job to me to do. Which brushes in your store are you using now? These are the brushes that I'm gonna be uploading to the membership once I have like all the 5 pencils done. There are other downloads at this moment, but they are not permanent, they are temporary? Yes, that's the word. Anyway, it's getting late here. I'm missing my vocabulary, but I'm gonna go and sleep. Thank you for joining this live stream, even though it was at a short warning time. And I hope you go and see this painting in my gallery on Instagram when it's done. Instagram traffic lately has been like really challenging, but I'm gonna keep posting my art there anyway, because it's the only place where you can still post individual images. Okay, thank you for joining, and I'm gonna quit the live stream because I don't know how to end these things. Bye.